Welcome into Titans Today. I'm your host, Will Scott. Happy Sunday, Titans fans, and it's the Sunday after the NFL draft, so you know what that means. Time to look at some undrafted free agents that the Tennessee Titans have signed. We'll start with this list right here. Julius Chestnut, what a name, man. Running back out of Sacred Heart. Reggie Roberson Jr., they go wide receiver out of SMU. Andrew Rupcich out of Culver-Stockton. Haskell, Garrett, a defensive lineman out of Ohio State. Shocking that he went undrafted. The Titans get him, as well as Jayden Peevy, who I also was expecting to get drafted. But somehow the Titans end up with him. And then Sam Okuayinonu out of Maryland, an edge rusher. And then David Anenih out of the University of Houston, another edge rusher that the Titans have brought in, as well as Jack Gibbens, a linebacker from Minnesota. We continue on here. Trey Swilling, a corner out of Georgia Tech. The rambling wreck of Georgia Tech. Always love to see these GT guys getting picked up. Michael Griffin II out of South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits, Ryan Stonehouse, what a name, out of Colorado State, a punter. And then Caleb Sudak, a kicker out of Iowa. So punter and kicker rounding out our list out of the Titans undrafted free agents. So go ahead and give the Titans undrafted free agency class a grade, A, B, C, D, or F. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So when you're hit with an ad break, go down. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to give the Titans an A. And what you look at when you're kind of grading an undrafted free agency class is how many guys did they get that were supposed to go undrafted? Several names I'm seeing on this list were guys that I thought not only were going to get drafted, but get drafted in the 5th or the 6th round. Haskell Garrett is a top 3 undrafted free agency pickup in all of football. Stunned he went undrafted. He's a little bit undersized, but I don't look at that. I look at the numbers that he put up at Ohio State. And then Jayden Peevy as well, a 2-year starter at Texas A&M, supposed to be a 4th or 5th round pick. He's undrafted. Titans get him as well. Overall, a really, really solid undrafted free agent class. Let's go name by name here. Julius Chestnut, what a name, what a school. Sacred Heart running back, first-team All-American, 3 touchdowns last season for Sacred Heart. And then Reggie Roberson Jr., who I think a lot of people might have been sleeping on because when you were looking at SMU wide receivers, you were obviously looking at Danny Gray, who went to the San Francisco 49ers. He was the number 2 wide receiver at SMU behind Danny Gray. Really good career there. Played a long time for SMU, a 4-year starter after transferring from West Virginia. And then we move on to Andrew Rupcich out of Culver-Stockton. What the hell is Culver-Stockton? I don't know. Never heard of that school, but he had a good career there. 3-time first-team All-American, a 5-year starter at the left tackle position. Can't go wrong with getting a guy with those type of accolades. If you're a Titans fan, then subscribe right now to Titans Today. We're bringing you several Tennessee Titans videos each week. We just surpassed 3,000 subscribers. Let's get to 4,000 because you know what, Titans fans? We got one of the best fan bases in all of the NFL. We're trying to show our bosses here at Chat Sports what Titans fans are all about. So help us hit 4,000 subscribers and subscribe right now. Let's get into Haskell Garrett, who, like I said, one of the best undrafted free agents. Shocking that he didn't get drafted. Look, I think scouts are maybe looking that he's a little bit undersized. Maybe he's not athletic enough. I don't give a crap because he was first team All Big Ten. First team All Big Ten. Unbelievable. Led team in sacks. Like I said, he lacks ideal height, length, wingspan. I'm looking at the numbers he put up for the Ohio State Buckeyes. One of the best defensive linemen in the entire conference. He should have been drafted. He wasn't. He gets picked up as a UDFA. Jayden Peevy, another player that I fully expected to get drafted. 2-year starter on the Texas A&M Aggie defensive line. I thought he might be late 4th, early 5th round pick. He gets undrafted. One of the many names that we were expecting to get drafted that didn't. He goes to the Tennessee Titans. And then Sam Okuayinonu out of Maryland, an edge rusher. And when you look at what he did at Maryland, pretty solid career. Third-team All-Big Ten selection. They get him as an edge rusher. Let me ask you, Titans fans, who is your favorite undrafted free agent? Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm typing Haskell, Garrett, because that is an absolute steal, getting him as an undrafted free agent. Moving on now to David Anenih, a edge rusher out of Houston. So 2 edge rushers that the Titans have brought in here as an undrafted free agent. 5 sacks last season for the Cougs. And then Jack Gibbens will continue on this defense train here on Titans Today. Started all 13 games for the Minnesota Gophers last season. Led the team with 92 tackles. A transfer out of Abilene Christian. He was unnoticed there. He goes to Minnesota. Has a pretty good season for the Gophers. And then Trey Swilling out of Georgia Tech. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because his dad, Pat Swilling, a college football Hall of Famer, his dad also played at Georgia Tech, had a pretty good career in the NFL. So when you look at these names, you see a couple guys that have a pretty good shot at making the roster. We'll get into the punter and the kicker that the Titans have signed here a little bit later on. But I think a couple of these guys can make the roster. I think Haskell Garrett probably has the best chance of making the Titans 53-man. So let me know down in the comments. Make your prediction. How many undrafted free agents will make the final roster? Moving on now to the Jackrabbit, Michael Griffin II out of South Dakota State, a safety. I love the Jackrabbits. I always take them in my March Madness bracket. So hopefully the guy can play football. We'll see what he does in training camp and in the preseason. And then Ryan Stonehouse, one of the best names I've ever seen for a punter. Just sounds like a punter name. And look at the hair, man. This guy's a stud. He was a second-team All-American last season at the punter position. So, I mean, practically the second-best punter in college football behind Matt Araiza. And you get him as an undrafted free agent. Had 32 points 32 punts of 50 yards or longer last season for the Rams. And then they go kicker as well, taking Caleb Shudak on as an undrafted free agent. He holds the Iowa record for career field goal percentage at 83%. His 2021 field goal percentage, 85.7%. So he had a very good career at Iowa. So I don't know, maybe he'll come in and challenge Randy Bullock for the starting job. Go ahead and predict the Titans' record in 2022. It's going to be really fascinating what goes on with Tennessee this year. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs last season. You bring in Malik Willis, who might be the starting quarterback by the end of the season, but you lose A.J. Brown. So I think that's why Titans fans might not be as optimistic about next season. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. I think they're the clear favorites in the AFC South. I get it. The Colts brought in Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's washed. Matt Ryan is a downgrade from Carson Wentz, and it's hard to downgrade from Carson Wentz. So I think the Titans are going to win the division with an 11-6 record. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We're the best Tennessee Titans YouTube channel, giving you several Titans videos each week. This has been Will Scott with Titans Today and Chat Sports. Talk to you again soon.